Afternoon, evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
The session was very nice. I have learned from Presbyterian Church of East Africa, and our church is founded on the Christian principles of the leadership style. We are structured, very structured. That is, we encourage.
Give an example of your structure.
We look at our structure or our order is from Corinthians 14, a church of order.
A church of order. Yeah. So you are giving an example.
We have elders. We have elders in the church. That is what.
Do you have deacons?
We have deacons.
What's the difference between a deacon and an elder?
And elders are like the managers of the church. Deacons are the lesser positions who manages the finances and the little other things in the church.
Okay.
Yes. And the biggest challenge now I've learned from our structure is that the elders are like the bosses. They own the church. It's not really owned by. Okay, we believe it's owned by Christ, but then how we operate?
It makes the elders feel like they own
the church, because they can even say they don't own the pastor.
We'll not ask you what you will do, but. Thank you very much. Another one. You are critiquing. That's why you came for this workshop, isn't it? Yeah. So anybody else? Yes? We start from here.
Okay.
Talking about his church in Kenya or in Congo?
In Congo.
Okay.
We have a problem that is concerning the church leadership.
Yeah.
Whereby until now there is a confusion between pastor and elders. Elders think they are above pastor, they can dismiss the pastor, and the pastor think he can dismiss the elders. So it creates some confusion. Until now, even when to make decision, it's
difficult.
Yeah, it's a very big challenge, and
everybody feels like they own the church.
Yes, actually, they began the church as a group of people.
Yeah.
Then among them, one is now a pastor.
Became a church.
No, they are like, okay, we began this
thing together is ours.
And pastor is like, I am the one.
I'm the vision carrier.
I made you elders. You didn't make me. You get, so it's like, okay, who is authority to someone else?
And that's yes.
I would add on what Madam has said in PCA.
Yeah.
Is that we have two different types of elders. We have the ruling elders who are the leverates, and we have the teaching elders are the reverends, and the ruling elders are the elders now.
Yeah.
Whereby the reverends does not have that much power. Wacha nikanyangia hapo.
Okay. Yes. Let's hear about something else.
Maybe I can then go for us, on the positive side, I come from Elim Pentecostal Church.
Elim,
yes.
Okay.
I would say we are pretty structured, and there is no confusion of who is in charge. We have an archbishop who is in charge of the whole country. We have bishops who are in charge of different regions. Then under bishops, we have reverends who have particular areas in those regions, and in churches, there are specific pastors, and they are the ones in charge. Then, like for a branch, we have specific finance team that even the pastors are not involved in the affair to sway them in one way or another, though they were appointed by the pastors and the leadership, that is the departmental leadership of the church. But they operate on their own. They decide it's Edmund, we need to pay this bill, this bill, this bill. So everyone, including the pastors, you table whatever you think can be done. But they are the one, they are all qualified accountants, though committed members of the church. But they are the ones who...
And that's what you like about your church.
And that is what I like about
area
the church.
Of improvement?
Area of improvement, there are some policies. There are those things that are not clearly put, things like welfare. We can find that we have given him, he lost his dad, we have given him 20,000. I have lost, you have given me 10,000.
Because you're a woman.
Yeah.
And you start asking whether a coffin for a woman and a coffin for a man don't cost the same.
So the welfare bit is one of our biggest areas.
Lack of clear policies.
Lack of clear policies, particularly in welfare. People have issues with school fees. You come here, we can give you 5,000. We see you, we can decide you don't. So it's
And there's
not,
no structure.
There is no
This finance committee has enough power to do whatever they choose
Yes.
on that matter, on welfare.
So it is one of our struggles which we are working on.
Good.
Yeah.
You are the last person to talk.
Yes, I'm a pastor in a Baptist church. We are very good in terms of structure. We have deacons, we have pastors, we have board meetings, we have members meeting, we have AGM. But on the other hand, on the downside, the deacons are like for life, like they are like the trustees. They are the ones who will be sitting in the pastoral search.
Yeah.
Because they're more, and so a pastor can be
Fired.
fired. But on the other hand, also a pastor, the other weakness is that the church work or other ministry is like it's the pastor's work. So if you're in charge of evangelism, the membership come to support the pastor in that particular department. That's how it looks.
And if the church doesn't grow, people know it is the pastor to blame.
It is a pastor to blame. So really, the pastor has serious work. And then, so there is that issue of church work. There is that issue also of, what did I want to say?
You already said quite a lot. Thank you very much. So that's the last one. Oh, so you want to be the final one?
I wanted him to be the final.
Okay, so you are last, now is final.
I come from a church called the Family Fellowship Church.
Yes,
I think
which I know.
Yes, you know, you have been there. So I think I would classify our church to fall under the kind of biblical founded leadership. First, I think we have well-structured leadership from the top to the bottom. In terms of top leadership, we have the AGM. Then we have elders, that is the elders and also deacons board. So the elders deal with spiritual matters. The deacons deal with church administratively.
Including money.
Including money and all that. Then we have a pastoral team, but also we have elders in other branches. We also have branches. Then we have ministry leaders. So for ministry leaders, we also have terms of references, so that they are not leading from a vacuum. There is a structure on that. In terms of welfare, we have two structures. We have a circle, which governs and helps members.
Registered with the Ministry of Cooperative?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have insured every member of the church. Life
Insured?
Yes, yes, life insurance.
You use a tithe to insure people?
Eh?
You use your tithe
No,
to insure people?
They contribute for the same.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is a policy that every member should follow.
To have a medical scheme?
Yes. Yeah, so I
Okay.
find that to be very unique.
Okay, which area do you need to improve?
I think it's largely in terms
You
of...
don't seem to have discussed that.
No, we have discussed.
Okay.
Yes, I think liturgy from leaders, just finding a way of making sure that leaders, when they come on board, are able to participate and give their...
You're calling it training and equipping of leaders?
Yeah, I think that is the point.
Okay. Oh, those are my words, not yours.
So it's because you added that church, that's why it's somehow
Yeah.
looks so. It is fine.
Sorry?
Because you attend that church. Because he has said you know the church.
I
So
don't know
it
enough. I don't know enough.
It has in your inputs.
I don't know enough.
Okay.
Like, you see, I go everywhere preaching. I'll be there on a Sunday. I may never appear again for 5 years.
But how do you like the model? How do you like the system?
None of my business. Remember, he tried hard. I refused to enter into it. But it's important. But you can see clearly, I can see those people at that corner did not ask in which way can we improve. So that when you ask that question, now obviously, all of you who did not tackle question 2, you better do that tonight. Is that okay? there does not exist a single church. And because I travel and I go to many, I can tell you areas, in any church I go to, they have areas of improvement. So if yours doesn't have areas of improvement, it must have been resurrected already. You know, after resurrection, we have no mistakes. As long as you are here, there will be areas of improvement. So that's important. Now, unfortunately, I wanted to spend a bit of time talking about that pastors should not be managers. They should be, now my problem, and you can see I have a whole table, but because you are going to get the notes, and I don't have a lot of time, you go into it. For example, in a sense, if you operate as a leader, your main interest is how can this church grow? How can it change? But a manager is interested in stability. You know, they want things to happen continuously. Managers manage. Are we together? Look at focus. If you're a leader, leaders focus on people. After all, the word lead means go ahead of and others follow. Okay, the point? Yeah. So their interest is somebody following. What could make them stop following? So the emphasis here is on leading. But the other people are interested in work. Are we meeting our goals? Are we together? That's a manager. So we are saying pastors should move towards leadership more than towards managers. Leaders have followers. What about managers? But you know, some pastors have subordinates. Now, once you have a subordinate, you know, subordinate means somebody you command. If you command me, what will you pay me? You know, that's what pastors means. That you cannot, if you annoy me, I just vote with my legs. I just move. You know that's a vote. You don't see me next Sunday because I voted, isn't it? Now, once you realize people can vote with their legs, you don't command them around. You have no power. They are not your subordinates. And I've run out of time, but that's the most critical aspect of the separation. A leader is at the mercy of followers. Because he can be going and nobody is following. But a manager has no problem. Because there was a manager for Shell for many years. When I gave instructions, you fail to follow them at your own risk. Why? Because I could refuse to give you a bonus. I could even fire you, depending on what you have done. But if you are a leader, power is with the follower, whether to come on or not. It means if you are a leader, you keep praying, God, what is it I'm not doing? So that people are not following. Because follow means I deliberately decide to come. You are not forcing me. It is me choosing to come. And so the whole subject about leadership is how to help people to become so trusted that people will come together. The currency of leadership is trust. Because you cannot follow somebody you don't trust. So the moment, and that's what I was speaking on Sunday about in Etosen's Cathedral, about character. The moment your character is suspect, you'd have to revert back to management. Because leaders have to be trusted. And if your character is not good, I will not trust you. I will vote with my legs. You understand now the meaning? You just wonder why people leaving me. Because they don't trust you. So the most important aspect of a leader is to act in a trustworthy way. Number 2, to have clarity of visions. Number 3, to sell the vision so well that they stop calling it the pastor's vision. They start calling it our vision. That's really what we are talking about. So we can go on, all the way down. Decision making, a leader facilitates decisions. In other words, people don't think the leader made the decision. They actually think we all made the decision. He has a way of involving them, although it was his idea, till finally they think it's their own idea. But in management, they don't facilitate. They actually make decisions. So you need to ask yourself as a pastor, are you at the level where you call shots. And people don't do it, that your way, it's either your way or the highway. Or are you the kind of person who, and I can tell you something, the moment people trust you, the moment they feel this is our thing, we are deciding together, there's nowhere they can't go with you. It can be difficult days. Your church may be having hard benches, whereas mine is having soft chairs. Nobody will come to mine. People will sit on your hard bench because they trust you. Am I communicating? Yes. And so that's why you need to understand pastors should be leaders, not managers. However, let me own up. In a crisis, you can't use leadership. For example, if they say there is fire, I don't start asking you to, can we participate in deciding whether we burn? Now, no. If there is a crisis, you say, out, everybody out. And I know that because in 1988, I crashed in an aircraft in Kisumu. As they don't negotiate, the pilot thought that the wheels were out, but we just crashed. Those of you who used to read newspapers in 1988 would have read about a Fokker Friendship, Kenya Airways aircraft that crashed in Kisumu. So by the time we crashed, we were already being ordered out, not requested, but ordered. So in a crisis, you don't use leadership, you use management skills. So there's a time when management is the right thing to do, because there is no time to get buy-in by everybody. But as a way of life, pastors should be leaders, not managers. And you can go through it on your own. You can see it's a long one. In terms of risk, a leader is always taking risk, but a manager is always trying to reduce or minimize risk. Now I could go on talking about leadership definition, but I've spent a bit of time talking about that, so I'll not relate on that one. You read it on your own. Let me, as we go towards finishing, say that the way God has created us, we follow different styles of leadership. We are all leading, but there are different styles of leadership. And there are many, there are 16 now. I'll pick 4. Some of us are directors, others are diplomats, others operational, others are analytical. Which style is the best? Depends on who and what of leadership. There is time when directors are the best pleased, the type of task. But there's a time when diplomats are the best. So it's a very important thing. Note the context where you minister best and the strength that you bring to what context or situation. Also, be aware of your weakness. Once you know you are a director, then you know certain times you're not going to act very well. That's when you look for your assistant who has those skills. So, by the way, I admire the way you are able to make announcements. When I make announcement, I normally speak Kikuyu in English. Now, but you have Queen's English. People might get confused whether I'm running or learning. Now, but for you, you know exactly how to communicate. In other words, since you are not trying to win a prize, isn't it? You know your weakness, isn't it? So create a team that covers up your weaknesses. Are we together? So you need to understand which one you are. Let's, for example, talk about directors. Directors are task-oriented leaders. Now, there are two types of people in every situation, and we need both. But some of us are task managers, others are people managers. And even seated here, there are people who, when we are doing a project, their interests are the people. But others, their interest is, shall we finish our project? And both of them are needed. I hope it needs to come out clear. Now, directors are these task people. Directors want the task to be done, and be done on time, and be done efficiently. So they are the kind of people, if you have a project urgently required, don't call a diplomat. Call a director. You are at your best when boiling a complex situation into a few goals. You may give something very complex, but a director will break it up and tell you these are the 3 things we need to do. you have that big picture vision that enables you to see what others cannot. They're able to see the wider picture, break it up into small bits. What needs to be done, by when, and by whom. And I'm sure you know people like that. Not every one of us is like that. Some of us, you ask, what are we supposed to do? And you go around meandering, you reach Mombasa and come back. Now, you need a director has a kind of clarity where you talk, he summarizes in 2 sentences. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Because he's able to summarize. It's a gift of God. Every group requires people who are directors, whether they are the top or not. You know, a director normally assumes that people don't see the big picture. So he's always giving people the big picture. Even if they know, they feel very bored. But he makes an assumption. These people don't have the big picture. So let me tell them. People don't get enough done. So I need to move them. If you just leave people to dig, they will not dig. You must come telling, how many have you done? Are you about to sleep? Now, a director does not leave you to work on your own. He wants to micromanage you. Are we together? Because his interest is the task. If you get annoyed in the process, don't worry. That's part of the job. He is more interested with the task. People are not decisive. That's why I decide for you. People take too much time. People shouldn't waste time talking about their feelings. You know, you annoyed me. That's feelings. How does it add up to this task? The feeling is your personal affair. What you feel, don't feel, talk about it in the bedroom with your husband. Now, you need to... That's a director talking. One of my bosses in Shell, you know, by 1960s, the people left the university in the 60s, all the top layer was white, the second one was Indians, Africans were somewhere below. And he talked about this Muzungu, whom he had newly married, and I was getting a baby. So he says, you know, they were working in Kericho. He says, you know, I have need to go on Friday because my wife is getting a baby. Just stands and say, wait a minute, did I employ you or your wife? That guy died the other day, but he told me that story many times. About people who are just interested in the task. Are we selling enough petrol? When your wife is getting a baby, what's that to me? I was also told about a bishop where the pastor was rang not too long ago because the mobiles had come and was told the mother had died. And the bishop was talking. So when he sat down, he told the bishop, oh, I've just been told my mother was dying. And he said, oh, sorry. Now, as we were saying, and he continued the discussion as if the mother had not yet died. You know, the person who is bereaved can release you to talk. But you should not talk until he releases you. Are we together? People don't have two mothers, only one. So if she dies, it's not a small matter. Are we together? So, but if you are that type of person, these are directors and their weaknesses. Directors excel at the task-oriented aspects of leadership. Some are visionaries. We could go on. They are also change agents. So we have already talked about a few weaknesses of the directors. Let's look at the inspirationals. The inspirational type of management that requires super people skills, a big heart, and an honest desire to help your employees develop both and outside of the workplace. So you can see the director are interested more in the task. The inspirational are more interested in inspiring the workers. Both of them, the work will be done, isn't it? But one concentrates on the work, the other concentrates on the doers of the work. The work is finally done. But the director fears, if you just inspire, these people are lazy. I must manage them. I must micro-manage them. Inspired person thinks once you inspire. The personal leadership, so inspirationals are people-oriented that bring this strength to ministries that need more rational, relational orientation. Like the director, they often gravitate to lead position very in church context. Both of them, the directors, will attract the bishop, especially if there is a construction going on. Are we together? But the inspirationals will attract the bishop when they're about to plant a new church. Am I right? So both of them will end up in leadership. Both of them have their own advantages. some temperament tools called inspirational leaders, influencers, because they tend to be natural born leaders, very relating well with people. That they too often lead church planting and refocusing efforts, which I said earlier. However, some inspirationals can be loud and obnoxious. You know, they like talking. Do you have them? Some of them. You start by saying, we went for a course, and there was a man called Nganga. Yes, I know him. He talked to us 50 years ago, and he is very short. Now, who was telling the story? You are reporting, but the person has taken over because he likes talking. You allow him, and then finally say, as I was saying, and you start again. I'm talking about us, isn't it? That's what you're talking about. They enjoy being center of attention. That often bothers followers. So followers can finally get, although you were meant to inspire, they feel you are talking too much about yourself. And basically you are not giving other people an opportunity. While inspirationals are strong relationally, they may struggle to accomplish necessary leadership tasks and may prove to be weak at administration. Since I don't want to hurt you, and you said your mother was sick, although I know there must be preaching on Sunday, you don't have to prepare. Now, what happens then on Sunday? Will there be a sermon? No. Can you see the danger of inspirational? They are so people-oriented, they can forget the task. Just the directors are so task-oriented, they can forget the people. So what needs is, if you are inspirational, you must keep forcing yourself. Since you know your weakness, force yourself. I know I can't handle her. With the kind of story she told me, I can't handle her. But I do know my assistant pastor is very good with people. Please go and tell her the church is going to be involved in the process of what is going through, and find out whether she is still ready to preach on Sunday. You know, if you're a director, no, you just simply say, hey, see, I heard your mother is sick. I'm preaching on Sunday. Now, surely, she has been preparing the whole week. She is ready to preach even if the mother has gotten sick. What do you think she will feel? Am I communicating? Yes. So, you should not go to tell her, now that your mother is sick, no, don't preach. How are you feeling? How are the matters going? Of course, it requires long-windedness. Until finally she says, the way I'm feeling, I can't preach. Then you say, is that the way you're feeling? We'll look for somebody. Don't say, by the way, I'm a better preacher. Now, you... Both styles have their strengths. And it's important to understand. Let's talk about diplomats. These are good people. Diplomacy is the ability to communicate effectively and respectively with diverse audiences for advancing your own interests and values. It requires a combination of emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, and strategic thinking. Because you need to think, where do I want to reach? That's where I want to reach. But she doesn't like going there. Once emotional intelligence means I understand her emotions, isn't it? So I'm able to project the matter from her perspective rather than from my personal objective. These are the diplomats. They never hurt anybody. Everybody feels at home. They can make you eat that happily because they make it look like it's okay to eat that because of the way they tell it until you feel, yeah, I understand. Let's eat that. These are diplomats. They are people-oriented and they make everything work. Am I communicating? Yeah, so you can see each has its own strength. Diplomatic leaders are not only good at negotiating and resolving conflict, but also at creating and maintaining positive relationships, both internally and externally. They are adaptable, apathetic, and respectful of different perspectives and needs. Diplomats are people-oriented leaders, just like the other one, like the inspirational. They lead best in situations that call for a person that is caring, supportive, friendly, and patient. You can't be a diplomat with no patience. If you are short-tempered, you are likely to be a diplomat. The diplomats have an ability to listen and allow you to keep talking nonsense. They don't stop you and finally tell you, by the way, I know what you said is useful, but can we discuss this? You don't tell him it is nonsense. You say something that allows them to feel accepted. You are being diplomatic. Are we together? I'm sure you are already assessing your boss. But because of this, they prefer a slower ministry pace and resist change environment. They don't want something changing and disturbing the idea. They don't want chaos. And we could go on. Some people complain that diplomats are so nice that it's hard to be angry with them when you need to be. Have you met people like that? I want to fire you. You're so nice. How can I fire you? The whole board met to agree she's going to be fired. When I go, and I'm a diplomat, I say, the church felt like they can, I don't know what they meant. So when you meet the board, next board meeting, did you give the letter? I'm still trying. Can you see the chaos from these people? Yeah, so it's important to understand. It's a weakness. The final group is called analyticals. Leaders with analytical leadership communication style are going to be very black and white. They're not like diplomats going around in circles. They are black and other colors don't exist. They want to know the facts and are detail-oriented because they are focused on problem solving. Everywhere they see problems, and they are the solvers. They are going to be resistant to change and are not going to be very keen on taking risks because you see they do not want to be failures. The analytical personality type is very deep and thoughtful. Serious and purposeful individuals. Analytical types are very high performance standards, both personally and they set for themselves very high standards. And if you work with them, please accept my sympathy. They also require very high standards. They are orderly and organized, and tend to have a dry but witty sense of humor. They make fun, but nobody laughs because they can't see what to laugh about. I want us to have question time. Leadership style also combine. These leadership styles also combine to form at least 16 different types. If you are direct, your major direction, you are direct type. But maybe you are inspirational. Your subset is inspirational. Or you can be a director, but you are combining with diplomat. Or you can be a director, but you are combining with analytical. So you can see, you can end up with 16. The notes are going to be available to you. 1. Number 2, which is